I think that GMAT is a kind of exam where there are no tricks and there are no shortcuts. You really have to get in the concept. You have to understand the concept. If you are reading an RC, you have to understand the complete RC. Or if not understand, you have to at least get a hold of it, that what it is talking about. During my job, I was giving, on the weekdays, I was giving 2 hours per day. And on weekends, I used to stretch it to 4 to 5 hours, depending upon the classes and the full length mocks if I used to take. So that's how it went. The job was not very demanding. It becomes demanding in a few weeks, but overall, I would say that I was able to manage.
Right.
In cons, I got 2 very weird questions which I had never seen before.
Okay.
So I had to spend around 7 minutes each on those questions because I was not able to find any logic or shortcut to get that question right. I had to do the entire calculation and make all the cases. So these
Right.
were the two. Yeah.
Congratulations on your GMAT 675. We
Thank
got
you.
it a couple of weeks ago, days ago, in fact. Yeah. So, here's your score. You've got like a, very good 81 percentile in quant, 84 percentile in verbal, and solid 97 percentile in data insights. So, to kickstart this entire session, why don't you just introduce about yourself, give us a little background, and tell me more about how did this entire GMAT journey start for you?
Okay, so I'm a BBA graduate and I graduated last year only. Currently, I'm working at Accenture in supply chain management. It's been almost a year since I started my job. Yes.
Right.
And how I got into GMAT, I realized, so after BBA, I wanted to get into an MBA. That was for sure, because it is not the curriculum that excited me. It was mostly the experience. I really wanted to gain that kind of experience. So I primarily targeted Indian B schools, and there were some good, really, really good Indian B schools that require the GMAT score. So I had decided that I would take the exam. Even if in future I decide to, let's say, opt for US B schools, if I decide to gain sufficient years of work experience, I knew that having a solid GMAT score will anyway strengthen and highlight your profile. So this
Right.
is the exam that I had always in mind, that I will definitely take this exam. And I started the prep right after, 3 months back, I started the prep.
Right. So, getting a little deeper into your preparation, right? If you were to, you know, describe the preparation journey, uh, what would be the key stages that you would say? What were you weak at in the initial beginning phases? What were the materials and key, videos or material that helped you overcome those, hurdles, we would say, or those weak areas or challenging sections?
Right. So I have previously taken the GMAT Classic Edition,
You did.
and unfortunately, the score was terrible. So I scored a 73 percentile, which is a 680 GMAT Classic score, with
Right.
a 68 percentile in verbal, which is a score of 34. So
Right.
after that, I really started reading the verbal part, especially.
Right.
And but anyway, I was excited about GMAT Focus Edition because initially I got to know that the sentence correction has been removed, and I never liked sentence correction, and even the geometry part was removed. So I was a little satisfied with this. But when I started the prep, so first of all, I was really excited, and I was really going easy with data insights because I had scored an 8 on 8 on integrated reasoning section of GMAT Classic Edition.
Right.
But after taking the first mock, I scored a 79 on first official mock, and that's when I realized that okay, the data insights here and the data insights on Classic Edition is way too different, and I definitely need to work upon this.
Right.
So a few challenges that I faced were, first was verbal. I always struggle with this, and thanks to top 1%, the sectionals, they increased my accuracy in critical reasoning from 70% to 91%.
Right.
Even in data sufficiency, I always dreaded these questions. I remember I had an accuracy of around 70% only when I started the prep.
Right.
But in last 4 official mocks, as well as in the actual exam, I had the accuracy of 100% in data sufficiency. So I think that the material 436 TS questions provided by top 1%, that was like a holy book for me. It covered almost all the variety of questions. I had solved around 300 of them. And by the end of my prep, I was able to consistently score 100% accuracy in data sufficiency.
Superb. Right.
And in cons, I have previously prepared for CAT, so I did not find it very challenging. However, I think that silly mistakes were an issue, and I think I really ended up making the same thing in the final exam as well.
Yeah. So, when you got that previous score of a 680 you mentioned, and one of the key changes, obviously, you looked at this data insight, but what are the other things that you kind of improved, saw some, analyzed few of the things and changed your strategy in the focus edition for each of the sections?
Uh, the majority of the part was verbal only. I think that GMAT is a kind of exam where there are no tricks and there are no shortcuts. You really have to get in the concept. You have to understand the concept. If you are reading an RC, you have to understand the complete RC, or if not understand, you have to at least get a hold of it, that what it is talking about. If you're solving a cons question, it's not about formula, it's about the logic. I don't even remember applying formula to 80% of the cons questions. So I realized that after my classic attempt, because I think I was relying more on the shortcuts. I referred to some YouTube videos and some random guidance from random people, and then I realized that this is not how it is, and you can't rely on a shortcut for a verbal. So
Yeah.
after, I think Octave really helped me, first of all. So it is a very structured approach, I would say. How you start from going from tone and then you delve deeper into the details. So this is something that really helped me in the RC section. Critical reasoning was a drastic improvement, and I'm really happy with that. Again, thanks to top 1%, because as we read the RC and as we follow the octave, we unconsciously started. I mean, we don't have to think about applying that. Uh, we don't have to think before applying that to the CR concept. So that really improved my accuracy.
Oh, super. So you said you were also working while you were studying. Tell me more about the fact that because you were just 1 year into it, was your job too demanding of you, and how were you kind of balancing both studying and working? How many hours you would consistently put every day? Because this is one of the factors that is essentially differentiate someone who's still is yet to give the GMAT and who's given the GMAT. So what is that hours that you actually consciously put every single day? What time would you prefer to study? Give us a little peek through that.
So in initial 1 month of preparation, I was finding it very difficult to, get that focus that you need for GMAT. There were days when I did not study at all because I was not able to develop that interest initially. And, after the first official mock, I was already very, like it affected my confidence to an extent that I was thinking of shifting to GRE.
Okay.
So I started initially, I was not very consistent, but later on it became, as I started gaining interest and as I started, scoring better in sectionals, I gained some confidence in it. That's when I decided to become very consistent with the preparation. I think consistency is really important. So, during my job, on the weekdays, I was giving 2 hours per day. And on weekends, I used to stretch it to 4 to 5 hours, depending upon the classes and the full length mocks if I used to take. So that's how it went. The job was not very demanding. It becomes demanding in a few weeks, but overall, I would say that I was able to manage.
Shruti, one of the things that you've highlighted and is extremely important is when we look at any other competitive exam, we want to just get it over with. But GMAT, you really have to develop interest. You have to consider this like a game because every stage of, I think, your preparation with each of the section is like a level in the game. Unless,
Exactly.
yeah, unless you don't have the interest, then you wouldn't like what it is challenging you, right? You've really highlighted that point very well. Now, on the exam day, if you would like to reflect back and tell me the order of the sections that you chose, how was your entire experience in terms of pacing, in terms of questions? Did you stumble upon any of the questions on unexpected questions that you've never seen before? And how did you really run through each of these questions?
So my section order was verbal, followed by quants, and followed by data insights. I realized that verbal is not a very strong pursuit of mine, so I wanted to keep it at first so I can be done with it. And quants was more of a chilling section for me, so I kept it in the middle, so I get a little refreshed. And before data insights, I scheduled a break because for data insights, you really do need to have a fresh mind. So this is the section order that I followed. Um, my exam was scheduled at 8 a.m., so I had to make sure that I get enough sleep. So I slept by 10 p.m. the day before, and this really helped me with my focus because in data insights, I am pretty sure I did not make any silly mistake. So this, I think, the focus and the fresh mind is really necessary for the exam day. Any challenges that I faced? I think in data insights, probably I got 4 questions wrong all in the end. So I think I had reached the stage where I was getting very difficult questions, something
Right.
that I had not seen before. So at that point, I did become a little nervous, and I was not able to, I actually ended up spending 4 minutes on a question, and then I had to just skip it because then I remembered that difficult question wrong, but won't penalize you as much as getting an easy one wrong. So anyway, you have to skip it so you can get time for the other ones. So
Right.
in data insights, I got some difficult questions in the end, which did take up a little bit of my time, because of which I had to guess the last question.
Right.
In quants, I got two very weird questions which I had never seen before.
Okay.
So I had to spend around 7 minutes each on those questions because I was not able to find any logic or shortcut to get that question right. I had to do the entire calculation and make all the cases. So these were
Right.
the two. Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. And and any of the other insights, especially in terms of your mocks, you just mentioned that you've never seen some of these questions before. So I want you to highlight mostly on your practice mocks, especially how similar how did it help you, especially during the exam? How did you structure taking these mocks just before your exam? And more importantly, on the exam day, we spoke about the question part, right? Tell me about, because this has been some, the hot topic discussion. Quite a lot of people are taken aback based on the test experience in terms of, the writing. There is laminated sheets or or maybe the environment itself, cold, hot weather or whatever. So how was that for you at the same time? Could you just go?
Okay, starting from mocks, I think top mocks, they prepare you for the difficult questions, and they did help me a lot with time management because they allowed me to attempt the difficult questions in the given time. So I did not have to spend, because of course I did not have a choice to spend too much time on a difficult question, because most of the questions that were found on top mocks were difficult only. So they did help me a lot with the time management part. Majorly, I focused only on the official mocks because they are the closest to the exam. I took 8 mocks in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, and with one each reset. So I was able, I think the actual exam was very similar to the mock exam. I did not face any kind of difference. In fact, it felt like I'm taking just another mock. So if, I think official mocks are really important throughout the journey and to judge your performance. Coming to the exam experience, yes, the sheet and the marker that were given were quite different from what we use in everyday. We use a pen and paper. So that was a little different. But again, as I said, that I did not rely a lot on the calculation in quants. It was mostly, I used to either use the logic or very short approach to solve the quants questions. So I did not have to write a lot. I did not face a lot of difficulty there. But in data insights questions, yes. I do make the use of calculator, but I prefer solving the question on my own. So any calculation, I prefer doing it on my own. So there, I think it did affect my speed to a certain limit because I was not very used to marker. And I think I would suggest that if you are taking the exam at center, it's, or even at home, I think at home also you are required to use the marker only.
Right.
Better that you use and get a hold of the marker and a sheet like that at home, so it does not affect your speed on the actual exam day.
Right.
Yes.
So I think to summarize, and you've said it all very beautifully, but if you want to summarize your do's and the don'ts list, what to avoid, more importantly, and anything that could boost your entire preparation, be it from the material to the support, be it at the faculty or your personal, peers or family support that you got, just kind of list down, the do's and the don'ts for us.
So first of all, throughout my journey, I had a study buddy. So he was a friend from college. He's yet to take the GMAT. I
Right.
think that was really helpful throughout my journey because we were able to exchange some difficult questions and whatever new kind of questions that we came across.
You're right.
So if you are able to find a study partner like that, it's amazing. It really helps. Did help me. Coming to some key takeaways, I think one of them would be that I changed my strategy, the study approach thrice. So when I started preparing, I was not focusing enough on data insights. Then I took the first mock and realized that I really need to, start paying more attention to data insights because it's not that easy as it seems. Second, then I realized that I really need to work on my accuracy because in quants I was getting silly mistakes. Then at one point I realized that time management was an issue because in data insights I had to guess the last 3 or 4 questions. So I changed my approach a lot of times. I changed it thrice throughout my journey. So I think it's really important that, let's say, after 1 month of rigorous preparation, you can take up a mock and you can judge your performance and then get back to your however you want to study and if you want to restructure depending on that mock. Some people, they suggest that the mock should be left for the end, but I think otherwise. I think that they should be divided throughout your journey because mocks are a way to assess your performance, and that's how you can restructure your approach to study for further mocks. So one is this. Second is that give equal importance to all the sections. I relied heavily on quants because I was scoring well in few of the mocks, I mean, in the latter part of the mocks, I was scoring really well in quants. I relied so much heavily on the quants that during the exam, I was so happy after the section that I'm definitely scoring a 90. And even after the exam score, I did not look at my final score for the initial few seconds. I only looked at the quant score because 83 was a very disappointing score. But I am glad that I equally paid attention to all three sections. So DI was a game changer for me. So this is, I think, very important to treat all the three sections very, with the equal importance.
Importance. Shruti, one of the very finest again thing that you touch base is the study buddy. So this buddy and you both started at the same time, and did you both refer the top 1% itself?
Yes, we were both from top 10%. He's a college friend, and yes, we started almost at the same time.
Almost, he's on the verge of giving the GMAT exam.
Correct.
Absolutely amazing, because that is something I think a lot of people do lose out on, and sometimes they feel like, is there someone else who, especially when you're doing a self-paced course, you kind of becomes a very lonely journey sometimes, although you do have your faculty, your facilitators who are there as an accountability partner who you can reach out anytime, by the way. But sometimes there are days that it'll be very lonely, and having this study buddy, especially for the GMAT, really really makes a big difference. Do you want to
Really,
highlight anything more on that, or you've covered it all?
I think I could probably mention a little more about the study buddy. So when you have someone who is, at the similar level as you, starting just as you, I think it's really motivating as well. When you, let's say, when you're getting off the track and the other person is sending you doubts, or, he can probably even motivate you to study. I think this is really helpful. So even as a person, I have always liked having the concept of a study buddy because I think it really helps in long run. You get the motivation and you get a doubt solving partner and everything. So it's like an all in one package. So this is I always look for a study buddy whenever I have to prepare for a competitive exam. So yeah, this is something that really helped.
Superb, superb. I hope he also gets the GMAT score soon, and he also talks about how the study buddy really helped and motivated. I hope he sees this interview as well. Some nuggets until for his final exam. So thank you so much for joining me today, Shruti. I
Thank
really
you.
wish you that you get the admit of your choice wherever it is. It should be limitless, of course, because it also gives you a massive opportunity to now explore your career options for the next 1 year, if you'd like to kind of just see what are your possibilities without really having any baggage, that GMAT is there. That gives you ample lot of opportunity to now really streamline towards your MBA goals. And again, thank you so much for choosing Sandeep Gupta as your mentor, trusting him with this process and really having this experience through your GMAT preparation. We are so humbled that you got that score, and now hopefully you should be able to get that admit as well.
Thank
Very
you so much. Thank you. It
good
was
luck.
really nice to you.
Very, very same here. Thank you so much. You have a
Thank
lovely
you.
day ahead. Bye bye. Take care.
Okay, bye bye.